Hi, thanks for joining. This video is on compounds. What is a compound? A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements that are chemically bound together. Because there is a chemical bond, the elements cannot be physically separated from one another, but rather a chemical reaction needs to occur in order to break the bonds that make up a compound. For example, water is a simple example of a compound. It is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. If we apply heat to water, it evaporates, but the chemical composition remains the same. It is still water. Conversely, if we subject the water to cold temperatures, it will freeze, but it will still be water. Physical forces can alter the way a compound looks, but only chemical forces will break the bonds and force that compound to become something else. There are two types of bonds that can hold a compound together. Covalent bonding means that the atoms involved in making the compound share electrons between them. Ionic bonds, on the other hand, do not share but rather involve the complete transfer of an electron from one atom to another, forming both a cation, or positively charged ion, and an anion, or negatively charged ion. The attraction between the positive and negative charges of these ions is what keeps them or holds them together. As previously mentioned, compounds can be held together by ionic or covalent bonds, but not exclusively by just one or the other. For example, sodium hydroxide is a compound that has both ionic and covalent bonds. The sodium atom shares an ionic bond with the oxygen atom, which in turn is covalently bonded to the hydrogen atom. The chemical structure is used to visualize the spatial arrangement of the atoms and bonds in the compound. The chemical formula provides a quick representation of the elements making up the compound, as well as the ratio of those elements. Caffeine is provided as an example on the slide. This compound is made of 8 atoms of carbon, 10 atoms of hydrogen, 4 nitrogen atoms, and 2 oxygen atoms. In cases where there is no subscript, the number of atoms is presumed to be 1. The properties of a compound are different than those of the individual elements that form it. For example, sodium, Na, is highly reactive, a great heat conductor, and very flammable. Chlorine is a toxic gas that can react explosively with other chemicals. However, when sodium and chlorine come together, they form sodium chloride, which is commonly known as table salt, which is neither toxic, if not abused, nor flammable. In summary, compounds are made up of two or more elements. The bonds in compounds can be ionic or covalent. Compounds can be represented by their chemical formula or structure. The properties of a compound are different than those of the elements that make it. Thank you.